morning, good afternoon, good evening. The people of Zimbabwe are still being encouraged to come out in their millions as soon as the signal is given. This is a hopeless case, to say the least. We are being asked to join with Comrade Geza and his war veterans in the fight to remove Mnangagwa. Make no mistake, I totally agree with them that Mnangagwa is a corrupt, incompetent, a murderous thug. What I don't agree with them is that they're not offering the solution to the problem. The problem is the dictatorship. This system that says Zanu PF alone has the divine right to rule the country. That is what is wrong in Zimbabwe. Blessed Geza, my apologies, and his colleagues, what they are saying is they are tired of the current dictator, so they want to replace him. Just as 2017, they were tired of Robert Mugabe, and they replaced him with Mnangagwa. This is just going round and round in circles. The problem is not the dictator, it's the system, the dictatorship itself. If you don't dismantle the dictatorship, you're only swapping one dictator for another. And how anyone can see that as a solution, beggars belief. Particularly after 45 years of the country being stuck with this corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical Zanu PF dictatorship. For the record, Comrade Geza is fighting for a share of the loot. There's no denying that Zanu PF ruling elite have been looting the country blind for the last 45 years. And he is fighting for his share of the wealth. That is what he's fighting for. Here is speaking on that very issue. He wants his farm back.
Cherparongozi, iri prize iri. We will start Ministry of Lands officials. We will take all their land.
But
Mira, and we are going to take Chiwenga and Mnangagwa. As my ministers structura, mark my words.
But these guys have guns. They have police.
My God. My God. You think CIO police ne army muno maivungi. You know, my prison muno maneland. My soldier muno maneland. You must say I want to land. Who convinced them? Could we are doing this for you? You know, who convinced them? Saronga baraka bizab gabe angasina ma CIO. Angasina ma general ID. I do one uje. One day, but I got temura. It's one a bombshell. Take never as well. Tagadi, I'm temura. Yeah. You see, so we are warning Masuka. Those land, Yema veterans. I'm also affected. I've got my land. Yandakapiwa. Mavunga was the coordinator, Minister Mavunga. Right? Was the coordinator. Apana umbo wapoda upinda ihoho. But because of corruption, G40, right? My farm was taken, right? Igapoa Toti, and Toti Tina Mnangagwa. We are not being protected. Mavunga ndakaita Minister of State, kune price kwacho, takamanya. Zvinokuti kamupana kanonzi, zvazi dendere kana utani. You see it on my papers. And I want to warn those ministry officials. They know what I once did to the PEMSEC. Namini Saigo. Right? We'll go for them. But apart from going for them, we are going to take the land.
So the land issue has not been resolved. And in this particular case, we now have one faction that feels that they have got the right to decide what should be done with the land. 45 years after independence, the issue of the land has not been resolved. In fact, for the record, whilst people like Geza is talking about their own land, we still have the thorny problem, the outstanding problem of the rural people, the peasants. Ian Smith denied them the right to own, to have title deeds, to even the size of a football ground, piece of land on which their mud hut was built. Giving the people title deeds would have given them the confidence to build decent homesteads for themselves. This cannot be overemphasized. But Ian Smith did not want to give the peasants title deeds because he reasoned, give them the economic empowerment. The next thing they would want is political empowerment. Mugabe, when the country became independent, was told the same thing. Give the people in the rural areas. Yes, the land is not the best land, but even then, if you give them the confidence that that piece of land is theirs, the title deeds, that will give them the confidence to invest in improving that piece of land. They'll build decent homes. They will not have to wait to be told to dig a well. They'll do it. They'll plant fruit trees. Because they know that at the end of the day, their own children will inherit it. Their own children's children will inherit it. And even if they should decide to leave, they can sell it as an ongoing concern and get something from it. Mugabe refused to give title deeds to the rural people. For the same reason, Ian Smith refused to give title deeds to the peasants. After independence, the ruling elite allocated themselves farms. What our friend was talking about here. But only the few could have the confidence that the land, the farm they were given, belongs to them. This is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. You had the farm, and you could have the confidence that you own it as long as you are in the right basket. You support the right faction that is in power for the day. These people were never given any title deeds. And this is why it was so easy for people like him when he fell out with the party or the faction that was in government. He found himself being booted off the farm. This has been going on all along. Even those who are, who've got land right now, they know that they only have to be accused of supporting the opposition, and they will be surprised how quickly they'll be booted off that farm. The land issue has not been resolved, even among the ruling elite. Mnangagwa has given title deeds to the ruling elite, and some of them are parceling up the farms that they got and selling them as quickly as possible and running away with the money. The farm, you cannot count, you cannot have the confidence that you still own it. But at least if you sell it and make money and you can run away with the money, the party cannot recover the money. But that is another issue. The issue we are talking about here is one of, are we going to go round and round in circles, being told that we need to replace one dictator with another? That is the question here. The people are being asked, when the signal comes, to come out onto the streets in their millions and push the regime out. And we know that those behind this final push would want to put Chiwenga in Mnangagwa's place. Yes, VP Chiwenga. Anyone with half a brain would know that Chiwenga has been part and parcel of this Zanu PF dictatorship, that he's corrupt. He was the one who spearheaded the 2017 military coup. He even had the audacity of waiving the constitution and pretending he was fighting for the rule of law. Nonsense. What part of the constitution said the army would deploy itself? The constitution is very clear. Only the commander-in-chief can deploy the army. Of course, what he was doing was high treason. to try to pretend that this was not a military coup. It was a militarily assisted transition. It's all nonsense. We know that Zimbabwe's biggest problem has been those in the war veterans, be they in the army, the CIO, who have been brainwashed by Zanu PF leadership to believe that Zanu PF and Zanu PF ruling elite are the only ones competent to govern the country. This is what is at the heart of our problem. Here is Commander Shinavashe speaking on that very issue.
We wish to make it very clear to all Zimbabwean citizens that the security organization will only stand in support of those political leaders that will pursue Zimbabwe's value, traditions, belief, for which thousands of lives were lost in pursuit of Zimbabwe's hard-won independence, sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the national interest. To this end, let it be known that the highest office on the land is a straitjacket, whose occupant is expected to observe the objectives of the liberation struggle. We will therefore not accept, let alone support or salute anyone with a different agenda that threatens the very existence of our sovereignty, our country, and our people.
Here is an individual who had been brainwashed into believing that anyone who had not fought in the liberation war, even if that individual won the majority vote in a free, fair, and credible election, could be president of the country. Of course, what he was saying there is high treason. And we all know who coached him and all the other senior top brass in the army, the police, the CIO, and so forth, who coached them into subscribing to such idiotic nonsense. What we have got to say, and what we must be said here, is that we cannot keep on going round and round in circles. After 45 years of corrupt, tyrannical Zanu PF dictatorship, we have got to acknowledge that the Zanu PF dictatorship has failed the nation. Let's end the dictatorship and let's stop wasting time swapping one dictator for another and pretending that somehow that will solve our problem. We swapped one dictator for another in 2017. We all know that didn't solve anything. In 2017, people made the mistake of coming out in support of the military coup. We must not make the same mistake again. As much as we want to see the back of Mnangagwa, if that is achieved at the expense of putting yet another dictator, who in turn will no doubt claim that he is entitled to staying president for 10 years, is ridiculous, is unthinkable. We want free, fair, and credible elections in which those in power are accountable to the people. No one has the divine right to rule the country. This idea that because I fought in the war, I have the right has got to be abandoned here and now. The reassurance that this dictatorship will deliver all we want is just nonsense. We cannot keep on going round and round in circles. Before I close, I'll just discuss what Edwin is raising up there. How do you end the dictatorship? Well, we had many opportunities to end the dictatorship. The best chance, without any doubt, was during the GNU of 2008 to 2013. We failed to implement even one democratic reform because MDC leaders sold out. But also in 2017, let's face it, the reason why the 2017 military coup was necessary was because the nation was growing restless as the economy got worse and worse. And so the pressure for change was there. Mnangagwa and his group took advantage of that. But they also needed the people to support them. And so they promised the people that the military coup would end the dictatorship and will revive the economy. And we, the people, were foolish enough to believe those promises at face value. That was the mistake we made. And all I'm saying is we should not make the same mistake again. The present economic situation in Zimbabwe is making people restless. The very idea that Mnangagwa can somehow stay in power until 2030 under the pretext that is delivering an upper middle income nation in 5 years' time is nonsense. Everyone can see that the economy is in total meltdown. Recently, people were shocked to see that in a hospital, medical staff were being forced to use cardboard for splints to help those with broken limbs. This is how far we have fallen. This is not an upper middle income nation. We all know that Mnangagwa corruption has increased, has gone into overdrive. Mnangagwa will never revive the economy. But this idea that replacing Mnangagwa with Chiwenga will change our fortune is just idiotic. Like I said, the real problem behind Zimbabwe's economic meltdown, we are a failed state. because we've been stuck with a corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical Zanu PF dictatorship for 45 years and counting. And we should tell people like Blessed Geza that his solution of swapping one dictator for another is no solution at all. That is the message. Thank you very much. Have a good day.